Good morning, beloveds. Good morning. Good morning. So, before I even hop into my sermon, I have to give it up to my wonder twin, Kirk. Kirk put that video together that we just saw. So, I don't know if y'all know the talent that y'all have here in this congregation, but my wonder twin did that. So, I got to come in and I got to give y'all a little heat. So, as a way to start our summer off right, I have to break us down a little bit and then hopefully bring us back up and move us on out. So, I'm going to say some things this morning that are a little bit uncomfortable. We've been stuck. We've been stuck in a holding pattern for almost 2 years because of a pandemic. We've been stuck at home because it was unsafe to go out. We have been stuck feeling the rise of anxiety and overwhelm because it was unsafe to move freely as we once did. For some of you that are out there, this has probably been the first time in history where you have been forced to do something that you didn't want to do. And for some others, being forced to do something you didn't really want to do is an everyday occurrence. Think about it. All of our lives changed within a few weeks. Like magic, barrels of hand sanitizer appeared at every entryway. All of the toilet paper disappeared, and we were all asked to wear a mask. Then there was no travel outside of the country, and then no travel, period. You must stay home because it's unsafe to go to work. Your children must now stay home, and you, as the parent or caregiver, since you must stay home, you are now their teacher. I can imagine that, when we were youth, we didn't think that anything like this would ever happen, right? So some of us got jobs doing work with our hands, and some of us got advanced degrees thinking that we would go out into the world and make a difference. Then suddenly, we are mostly at home and must take on these jobs and skills we never knew we had. Suddenly, you are the teacher, caregiver, housekeeper, and so many other titles. And it's not that it's wrong to have any of those roles or responsibilities. And it's not wrong to have these feelings of, what happened to my life? Those are natural. This feeling of stress and overwhelm comes when it's time to make a shift in life. Are you ready? We may want to blame the pandemic for this feeling of glacial motion. It's easy to do when we've had shelter in place orders. But I think that this feeling of inaction or being stuck started long before COVID 19 happened. And at this moment, I can't pinpoint the place and time exactly, but I know that it's been brewing. This moment that we are currently in has been brewing for a very long time. How long could we sit by and let the system raise our children? Let devices hold their attention? When would we, for a second, just remember to play with them and to let the kids lead the way? How long could we as a country ignore the overuse of our planet's resources? And how long could we sit idly by as our air and water become more and more polluted? How long could we as a country and by extension as a planet, could we just sit by as our inhabitants face mistreatment and injustice? How long did we think we would have to wait before our just desserts arrived for the atrocities done by our forebears? And by no means am I saying that any of this is our fault. But what if it was? What does it say about us to know that we just had to wear a mask and wash our hands and the impact of this pandemic would have been greatly reduced? What does it say about us and our progress when there is a noticeable difference in the levels of air pollution because there are fewer and fewer vehicles on the road? What does it say about us and how we treat disabled and disenfranchised people when people's work life balance increases while sheltering at home? What does it say about our commitment to real accessibility when, in a short few weeks, jobs that had always forced you to go into the office suddenly made accommodations so you could work from home so that their bottom line wasn't impacted, not yours? What does this moment say about us when other sibling countries around the world are able to immediately ensure that each of their citizens are able to receive a monthly stipend so that their bills and economy wouldn't be as hit as hard? And what is being said to us when there have only been three disbursements of COVID aid totaling about $3,000, when that is the monthly mortgage for some Americans? Just think about it. Why was it so easy for the government to issue for some people these PPP loans and for others it was a struggle? You all may not know about it, but as we speak, there are folks that are out there currently being pursued because they fraudulently sought these PPP loans to take care of their families. And of course, some folks abuse it. But what would you do if you were a year behind on your mortgage or 6 months behind on your car payment and there was this impending seizure waiting to happen? How would you handle it? And if none of these things have happened to you or crossed your mind, what is that saying about the income inequalities and inequalities of generational wealth in this country? What is this moment in our history telling us about how we treat one another? As Kirk said earlier, we live in this constant both and, right? So I say this to you. What if this holding pattern wasn't a bad thing? What if it was not some type of punishment? What if this feeling, this time was a reminder? What if this time happened so that we could break down these past structures that we had given so much value and authority? What if in this moment we are being reminded that we need to lean out for a moment and cherish the ones that we love? What if at this moment we are being reminded that work is not the priority? What would happen if we took this feeling of being stuck and we reframed it? Maybe this time is our setup. This is our preparation. This is that time where we get to plan out what the rest of our lives are going to look like. This could be that moment where we reconnect with our primal selves and we remember that there is more to life that we can care about. When was the last time that you were out in nature, just noticing how the bees buzz or the scents of flowers on an evening breeze? When was the last time you were able to visit a creek or maybe make a trip to the beach? When was the last time you sat down with family or friends in person or on Zoom and exchanged stories about the way you grew up? If we reframe what this time is, then we can see the beauty in this moment of pause and then go forward. Go forward is this divine mandate that we hear from place to place? And what if now is that time for us to move on and to go forward? What if we have been in this place of holding, learning, and reconnecting with ourselves as a way to reconnect with one another? And now, as the country begins to reemerge, maybe it is our signal to emerge as well. Maybe we have been the caterpillar in the chrysalis, slowly coming undone and reforming, rebuilding ourselves into butterflies. Maybe this moment has been a time for us to gather all the wisdom of ourselves and our ancestors so that we could pass some of that on to our descendants, whether by blood or relation. But I feel it as we are preparing to join together again in person. We have learned so much, and we now, as a planet, have a shared wisdom of what happens in a pandemic and how we can come out of it together. We aren't perfect, and we aren't meant to get everything in life perfect, but maybe we are coming out of this moment better for it, better together because we are returning to this idea of communal care, reaching out to one another over these virtual lines and soon in person. Maybe we will continue this practice to hold one another in community and to hold one another in love. And beloveds, as we prepare to go out from this place today, I invite you again to think about some of the questions I've posed to you. And I leave you with the charge to go out and change the world for the better. So go forward in peace, and blessed may we all be. Amen, Ashe, and blessed be.